We went to Western Dairyland seeking help with our business plan and our financials. So with the skills we had as 4 co-owners, we had a really good draft, I think, of what we needed. But it's just this special language, that you need to learn. There's a certain way to put the language together in a business plan. In bringing our draft to them, they helped to instill confidence in us that we were presenting the right amount of information in a conveyable manner. And they also highlighted for us what parts would be most important, especially to the bank reading it when we were talking about financing. So that was really quite helpful. And then the financials, we could make spreadsheets till the cows came home, but we weren't going to know, the calculations that were necessary to show that we had legs with this business and that it was financially viable and that we were putting the right amount of resources into it. So their help with that was truly invaluable. The analogy I use is that the business plan and the financial planning was like a college course I never want to take again. So we had a passion and we had a skill that we wanted to put out into the community, and we wanted to craft it as this business, but there's this one class that you need to take for credit, to get to your major. So they helped us with that. So they helped us with that hurdle, and I learned a lot. I would probably do it again, but maybe not willingly. So I've been an independent contractor my entire career. Here and there I had jobs with a particular company, but most of the time I worked in film and TV production, and then later as a yoga and meditation teacher. So I've always essentially been my own business and been my own boss, which I really enjoy that lifestyle. My husband and I moved here about 4 years ago, and we moved here to be consumers, to participate in everything that was happening here and support the arts and support the local artisans that were doing things that we were so proud of. And we really liked that flavor about Eau Claire. But we kind of got to a point where we also wanted to make something happen. So we decided to recreate the environment that we were so used to from living in Chicago and other major cities in the country, which was this sort of community-driven, think-tanking place where people could go to have really rich conversations, whether it was about politics or civic endeavors or passions like coffee and bikes and things like that. And although we frequented the other places in the area that were offering that sort of environment, we were getting the meetings done there, we were having the conversations, we still just wanted to put a little bit different spin on it. And I think we wanted to feel more at home here. There was a little bit of adjustment for us where there's so many wonderful things about this area, but it was still a little unfamiliar. We were used to an urban environment with these certain environments that we'd become used to, and trends that we had been surrounded by. So we wanted to infuse that into what is already on the uptick here in Eau Claire. So sleeping more. It's been a long haul. We worked on it for 2+ years before we opened our doors. The surprising part for us is that once we opened our business, there were so many opportunities that came our way. Different outfits in town, Volume 1, Red's Mercantile, these people, Ramones, that approached us and wanted to collaborate on things. And the collaborations have been fantastic, especially with those people who already had the experience. So we just put our skills together and made these really successful events happen. It's left little room for us to do the homegrown events and education that we wanted to do. But I think that might be too much to expect from us in the first year. We're just trying to get our skis under us about being a business that's open, 15 hours a day. Anyways, as we finish the rest of this year and go into our second year starting in March, we can just find a bit more grace about the way we're doing things, be less reactive, and instead try to make what we want to see happen. It's actually probably bad business planning, but a lot of our ideas don't make any money, but they round out our profile. We want to be affecting the people in the community, getting more people on bikes, having them try different flavors, through the food that we're offering and the coffee that we're offering. And we just want to keep uplifting our neighbors that way, get some space maybe in our planning and our calendar. We'll be able to do more of the sort of educational endeavors that we have. Well, I always joke that it was really selfish that we opened the business. I wanted to hang out there. So it's made me feel more at home here. It's got all these familiar tidings for me, you know, from living other places and frequenting other places like it. So that makes me feel more at ease, and it makes it more possible for me to put ideas out there and to invite people into our space. And so that's made it, I guess, yeah, like a more home-based kind of feeling for me. I think the other thing that's been really rewarding for me that I didn't see coming is the amazing staff that we've assembled at the shop. And again, I can't really take credit for it. So many of them approached us because they wanted to be part of our project. Most of our staff is mid-20s to early 30s, and I'm a bit older than that, and I don't have access to that age group all the time. And the people that we are working with are very passionate, dedicated, considerate, friendly, and willing to share both their skills and then information with everyone that comes in the door. So they've done this really integrated ownership type feeling to their presence in our business. And we couldn't do it without them, but they've also really given me so much energy about just having ageless relationships and then also feeling energized again. I have a 7-year-old and a 1.5-year-old, and I'm very tired. And you know, when our staff like turns up the music or plays music I don't know, I didn't realize how badly I needed that. You know, that was missing for me in a lot of spaces that I go to in Eau Claire. So having that really positive, like joyful energy surround us, I'm like forever indebted to them for that.
Very cool. Yeah.
I think I would say don't be afraid to ask for help, especially since I became a mother, and I guess also because I was an independent contractor. I'm very good at making complete projects happen on my own, and I think moms just figure it out all the time. They just have to, you know, every hurdle that comes their way. And so I feel like if you have an idea and you really believe it should be out there and you feel like your life would be less full if you didn't bring that idea to fruition, don't put it on yourself to have all the skills necessary to make that happen. So you can go out there and find the resources that you need, whether it's your community of moms or girlfriends or other business people. You know, in a board of directors sense, you can ask people who are in business that has nothing to do with yours. But especially in this small community, well, it's small to me, people are so willing to have those conversations and tell you their experiences that you can learn a lot and you don't need to do the work. You know, other people have already done the work and they're willing to share that knowledge with you. And especially with Western Dairyland, it was shocking to me that it was a free resource. So going in there and having any conversation that you need with them, we continue to have conversations with them. Every like harebrained idea we come up with, you know, they look at the financials with us and talk about the viability of it. And you really don't need to do everything on your own. You know, everybody here is so kind and willing to share that you can have those conversations. It'll make you feel less alone, and it'll hopefully make you feel more confident about what you're trying to put out there. Well, one of my partners is my husband. So talking about shift night and day is hilarious, tiring, wonderful, and sometimes we have to table it. So that was just a minor challenge. But I think one of the greatest challenges we had is people weren't really picking up what we were putting down. In our business plan, I think from the encouragement of Carmen and Jacob, we had articles in there that detailed other businesses that were successful with this model, whether it was in Seattle or Denver or Chicago, definitely in Brooklyn. You know, we showcased all of those. And still the feedback we were getting was that, you know, we were trying to do too much, you know, that we should pick one or the other. One pearl of wisdom that we got that we still laugh about now is that we should just do bikes and give the coffee away for free, which reminds me of when I go to get my car fixed at Ford. You know, it's like, here, have some coffee. We'll be right out with your like update or, you know, repair or whatever. So that could have been our shortcoming in the business plan. It could have also been, and this happens here sometimes, I think, if there's a trend or something that's just not really that tangible to the minds here, they can't really believe it's going to happen, you know? And I think too, I don't know if this is a challenge, but one of the things that we delighted in and didn't really see coming is, you know, we had all these drawings and we had all these ideas about what the space was going to be like and the conversations we wanted people to have there. we had no idea who was going to show up. I mean, we projected, but like we had no idea what it would feel like when the space was filled. I think that too was hard to convey to people, you know, that we really thought it was needed, the service that we were offering, and that the people would truly come, you know. So I think that was one of our greatest challenges, to try to convey that this was a successful model that we wanted to put in place, and believe us, it's really going to happen. The confusing part for us is that we've met with great success since we opened our doors, and yet it's still a really tough year. You know, it might be years before it becomes this sort of neat flow of in and out, you know, financially. And so we make mistakes along the way. I don't think they're terrible mistakes, but it's just a learning curve. So even though I think we're doing aces, everything's going really well, the feedback's been amazing, our accountant tells us, like, you know, it's considered a success story, all of that, it's still a really thin year. You know, it's still really hard that way. And then lastly, I think I said this before, but I'm forever grateful to our staff. Every day that I show up and that they're there, just being friendly and interested in what's happening and being so careful with both the conversations they have with the people that come in, but also with the product that we're putting out there. It's impossible to do it without them, especially because we 4 owners have 8 going on 9 children between all of us, you know? So being parents going into business, I think you need childless friends helping you along the way. So yeah, I think that's it.